Peace. Think fast. Just wanted to do a real quick video on as a matter of fact, I don't have the specifics on all the information dealing with this subject, but I do have the basis of the general information of it. I want to speak a little bit on like exercising and lifespan, basically how it's not meant for us to exercise extensively, you know what I'm saying? And I know, and what's funny, and I'm not here to fuss and do all that either, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I came first, up front, like, yeah, I may not be well versed and have all these statistics. Say for instance, this knowledge is truth, you know what I'm saying? This is a truth, but I know how humans work, because I'm not gonna be sitting here crunching numbers, and like, well, statistically, and and a lot of you are not going to really believe me. And I say that you're trying not to believe, but your perception won't allow you to believe me, because you're so used to learning in the construct of I need all the details and information to believe it. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Extensive exercise is very harmful to the body. And to tying it with lifespan, you can look at the fact that when you look at all your great athletes, as a matter of fact, compare the people who live to be 100 years old, like all over the world, to people that's like 114. As a matter of fact, you got some of these people that's living to like the age of 100, still smoking on a cigar or whatever, or still going to a certain job, you know what I'm saying, like still working or something of that essence. But you notice like a difference in between the fact that all these super health, pump that iron, junkies, you know what I'm saying, they don't really live as long as people who don't put all that stress on their body. And now somebody could quickly say, oh, but I don't want to live that long anyway. But I mean, in essence, those people who are living long, when you look at most of them, they're living healthy lives. Matter of fact, you look at some of them, they be doing better than a person that's like 20 years younger. Like, got people that's 80 years old in the nursing home, like shitting in the pamper, while they like 114, like, like talking and articulating themselves, like, let's dance. I posted a thing a while back where you had, I think it was an Indian brethren who ran a marathon at the age. That's another thing too. Now, ain't nothing wrong with just a simple little walking, running exercise, especially if you're not doing, like, say for instance, running is cool as long as you're not doing it a lot. We're not supposed to really do a lot of extensive running, because that's also like pressure on our knee joints and our back, because don't forget, we are vibrational beings, you know what I'm saying? Like, even down to the fact that it's a fact that you could exercise in your mind. Now think about that for a second, you know what I'm saying? And here's where people become ignorant. The fact that you could exercise in your mind and heal yourself in the mind, as a matter of fact, you got the placebo effect. Those two things exist. That means there's no need for anything else. Facts. There's no need for nothing else. But somebody will still try to argue the fact and still try to, I understand we all on our growth, and we're just not going to hop into doing our metaphysical abilities like that again. But please do realize that we are, self-healing in that manner, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to go out and look for these medicines and all that, because the body does it itself. But back on the exercise tip, you could actually, like, go in your mind and picture yourself doing push-ups, or picture yourself doing sit-ups, visualize yourself doing sit-ups and push-ups. As a matter of fact, if you were attached to one of those little, like, them things where they run tests on you, pick up on the electrical pulses throughout your body, it will show that when you're visualizing doing push-ups and visualizing doing sit-ups, that those muscles are actually, getting a little work in, you know what I'm saying? Like, those signals are still being sent to those muscles to work, in essence. So, that's a fact. And also it's a fact. Before, because say for instance, even before being vegan, you could go without all of it. And again, of course, we gotta learn how to get there, but let's work on trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? As far as, well, of course, the energy is kind of forcing us, to ascend in essence. But if we know that we have powers, if we know, it's almost like somebody like, hey, you're like Goku. You could do a Kamehameha wave, and you could do instant transmission. and you say, and you just be like, well, I'd rather not be Goku. I'd rather just, just live my regular life, in which I'm clowning, but nothing is wrong with that. It's to each his own. It's a free will universe, and you do exactly what you feel like doing. That's what it's all about. That's the beautifulness of the universe, and that's the beautifulness of Source. And that's how you know you're dealing with Source, is that free will. Free will to be quote-unquote evil, free will to be quote-unquote good, like it's your free will, to believe what you want to believe and do what you want to do, But just understand that, the extensive exercise is really not needed, Again, that's something that we were taught ourselves over the years, You got to realize, like, we're in a insane asylum. What's norm in an insane asylum is not normal, you know what I'm saying? So all these things that have become the norm over years, that's the normal state of our fallen state, you know what I'm saying? That's normal for us as fallen beings, as beings that have fell from their grace of being vibrational beings, you know what I'm saying? But in this ascension process, we're moving back that way, you know what I'm saying? So, like I say, like somebody telling you go, cause you got these powers and this and that, and it's like, I'd rather just be human and depend on the physical. I'd rather not use the law of attraction. I'd rather still like go out there and dig a ditch and work hard for my money. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. And it's like, to each his own. We all feel our purposes different. We all take care of our soul purposes, and we're all here for a different reason and gonna do things for a different reason. Cause that's the thing. Like say for instance, some cells in our body is meant to not make this like I say, this transformation with us, just as above, so below. Some of my cells in my body not gonna make it through this transition. Some of the cells or people on Earth is not gonna make it through this transition. Some of the certain beings or whatever else in the solar system is not gonna make it through. On all levels. It's some things are meant to transform. Some things are gonna, meant to stay behind. In essence. And another thing I thought of too. I thought of a old lecture with Dr. Layla Africa, where he talked about like about putting pressure on your heels, and about how like how females wearing heels actually stresses out the body on a scientific level, of the fact that when they wear heels, it's sending neuron messages to the body or to the brain that is in a state of running. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you kind of like just walking, but your body is sending off signals of running because it's feeling the tippy toe, and this is a fact. This is sciences, you know what I'm saying? Look into it, but your the feet feeling the fact that it, the heel's not touching the ground, and say for instance, that's how it knows that the sciatic, when that sciatic nerve, on the back of the heel, you could look at as above, so below, your hand almost like a heel, that sciatic nerve touching the ground first, bam, and it's letting know, all right, we walking, we cooling, you know what I'm saying? But then when it's the tip, it's like, wait, hold on, like we running from something, wait, shoot out the cortisol, shoot out the, you know what I'm saying, shoot out the adrenaline, you know what I'm saying? That's all, in essence, stressful hormones and things of this nature that throw the body off. But that's basically it, the extensive exercise is not needed. Because too, on a spiritual level, like what this gonna do on the astral plane? Like, as a high vibrational being, we're having a muscle that could, oh, look at the little guns, bang bang. But what having a muscle this high, what I'm saying, gonna do for you, other than it looks good to you, or it looks good to society, or you feel strong, what I'm saying? It strengthens up your energy of your roots and sacral chakra, so you feel more physically like I could, but it doesn't do anything for the true, for your being, in essence, you know what I'm saying? And again, to each his own, and there's a free will universe, and you do whatever you want. If you want to be a bodybuilder where you're so big you can't even move your arms or whatever, that's up to you, you know what I'm saying? Too, you start to see the personification of like how people who's more into the physical is kind of lacking the spiritual. Not saying that bodybuilders Bodybuilders can't connect to source or, you know, be spiritual, but, you know, because they're so invested in their physical essence, you know, put it like this. That's why I made the video, you got to get rid of the old to bring in the new. Well, whatever you focus on grows. So, of course, a bodybuilder could still be spiritual, but because they're focusing most of their time on dealing with their physical being, then they're not, you know, they're not going to get as much of the spiritual experience, because, you know, your attention and your focus grows, you know what I'm saying? And where's your attention, where's your focus? You know, if it's on the more physical part, yeah, even though you have a spiritual overstanding, you manifesting what you dealing with, what you focusing on, you know what I'm saying? What your attention on, you know, basically. But, you know, that's basically it, you know, just, matter of fact, simple walking. Like, matter of fact, for me, my exercising be me walking around with a book sack full of stuff, you know, in essence. Like, I be on my little bus rides and going here or there, you know what I'm saying? Just the essence of walking. Matter of fact, now that I'm in Cali and now Louisiana, matter of fact, we always clown in Louisiana. They have a little small town called Washington where it got a bunch of hills, you know, the streets are like kind of hilly, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, and then in Louisiana, the most elevation you got is Mount Driscoll, which I never been before, which I gotta go. But you know what I'm saying, like it's like a you know, hill. But long story short, I'm about to go way off, you know, like being out here, you know, with the different elevations, just walking, you know, just a simple walk, you know, help move the body, you know what I'm saying, and you know, releasing a little toxins, stuff like that, you know, or just simple exercises, you know, like matter of fact, simple calisthenics, you know, but just that super extensive, like really pushing your body, because even down to a point that some yoga gets to a point where you're just kind of being like a gymnast and you're not really actually like really letting like real beneficial energy through. Now a lot of those positions, yes, like you, like when you put your body in a certain position, it's allowing certain nadis and certain energies to flow to certain places, you know what I'm saying? But in essence, once you get to like putting your, you know, your feet behind you, and again, still like with the bodybuilding situation, it still has some type of benefit, but it's kind of like going, you know, in essence too far with it, you know, as far as like it's not bringing any spiritual essence at that point. Now it's becoming a little too physical, you know. But that's basically it, you know. And again, paying attention to, because another thing with the people that lives to be an old age is like a lot of these people don't even like say for instance, these ain't vegans and people who've been vegetarians all their life. A lot of these people eat kind of like what they want. It's about being comfortable with your life and being comfortable, you know what I'm saying, with what you eat. Because in essence, you know, yeah, the vegan food, all the healthy stuff is going to help our bodies and it's going to help us to move forward. But two, our health also go as far as our perception. Never forget that. What you perceive, you know. If one person drops something on the ground, they could pick it back up and eat it. Another person drops something on the ground, if they was to pick it back up and eat it, they would get sick, even if something didn't necessarily jump on it, because their mental perception is like that touched the floor. I bet you they had something on it. I bet, and they manifest, you know what I'm saying, into the physical. So these people that live to be these ages, you know, they're living their lives and they're not caring about, you know what I'm saying, anything on that level, as far as like, you know, like I said, they got some brethren and sisters probably still smoking cigars and tobacco, or other little eating certain little foods, you know. Because matter of fact, there's another thing too. It's about your spiritual wellness. Because I just thought of a fact that a brethren brought up that did a video on this, and he was talking about like the different ethnicities, and he spoke on like how in Asia, you know, he's speaking like how in the black community. As a matter of fact, what was tight, this was a actual white guy, you know, speaking on nutrition and lifespan, and you know, as a matter of fact, speaking why melanated people in America, you know, quote unquote African American, you know, die at early ages and, you know, seem unhealthy or whatever. And he spoke on how like you got these Asian people who eat some of the most unhealthiest food as far as like all the sodium and soy and all that, but they could live to be just as old as somebody who goes to try to, you know, be a vegan, but you're being a vegan in a stressed out manner. You know, you worry like, oh, like what I'm gonna do, what I gotta try to find this. You know, you're creating stress. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like voiding out the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, yeah, you going to be a vegan, but if you're stressing in the process, then it's like you might as well just eat junk food in that instance. You know what I'm saying? Because it does go as far as your perception go also. So, you know, always remember that too. But that's basically it. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibe free. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now.